The struggles you're facing today are not the end. They are simply an inevitable movement of reality. What separates those who drown in difficulties from those who thrive isn't luck. It's a hidden secret few people understand: the principle of rhythm. Once you grasp this, you will never lose control of your life again. But if you ignore it, you'll continue being dragged by the highs and lows of existence. Do you want to ride the waves of life instead of being swallowed by them? Then stay with me until the end, because today I'm going to reveal 3 powerful steps to turn any difficult phase into a stepping stone for your growth. Everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The rhythm compensates. The Kybalion. Life is an eternal flow. Just like the ocean never stands still, everything around us and within us is in constant motion. This isn't just an esoteric teaching from Hermeticism. It's a principle confirmed by quantum physics and neuroscience. The principle of rhythm teaches that everything moves like a pendulum: highs and lows, expansion and contraction. But here's what few people realize: you can influence this rhythm and use it to your advantage. Today, we'll dive into how this hidden knowledge can change the way you face challenges and teach you how to be strategic instead of reactive. Step 1. Observe the cycles around you. Awareness. What happens when you fail to recognize the cycles? Most people go through life as if they're trapped inside a movie, blind to the script that keeps repeating itself. They feel like victims of randomness, unaware that there's a pattern behind everything. Hermeticism teaches that the principle of rhythm acts like a pendulum. Everything swings between opposite poles, shifting from one extreme to another. In physics, this is known as the law of oscillation. The universe operates in cycles: day and night, the changing seasons, your heartbeat, the tides, even your mood, motivation, and opportunities follow the same pattern. Real-life example: the economic cycle. Think about the global economy. It never grows in a straight, predictable line. Instead, it moves through booms, expansion, and recessions, contraction. Those who understand these cycles can predict market trends, buying assets when prices are low and selling when values rise. But those who don't get swept away by panic, they sell at the bottom and buy at the peak, becoming victims of the rhythm instead of using it to their advantage. How to apply this to your life? Take a moment and reflect. What cycles are repeating in your own life? Do you experience phases of extreme motivation followed by periods of procrastination? Do your relationships follow a pattern of closeness and distance? Have you noticed times when everything flows effortlessly, followed by moments where everything seems blocked? Practical exercise. Identifying your cycles, grab a notebook and draw a timeline of the past 5 years. Mark your high points: success, energy, happiness, achievements. Mark your low points: failures, lack of motivation, struggles. Now, look for patterns. Is there a rhythm? What tends to happen before difficult phases? What triggers your best moments? By recognizing your personal rhythm, you begin to see the patterns shaping your life, and awareness is the first step toward control. Step 2. Don't fight the rhythm. Acceptance. Resistance to the flow creates suffering. Most people struggle against life's cycles, and that's why they suffer. They panic when the tide is low, desperately trying to force things to happen at their own pace. But here's the truth: the ocean doesn't bend to the will of the surfer. Those who fight against the rhythm of life waste an enormous amount of energy trying to change the inevitable. Imagine a swimmer caught in a strong current. The instinctive reaction is to fight against it, trying to swim straight back to shore. But this only leads to exhaustion. A skilled swimmer, however, knows to flow with the current, allowing themselves to be carried for a while until they find a weaker spot where they can safely swim back. When we enter a low phase in life, we become frustrated, anxious, and desperate. But instead of resisting, we must accept that everything follows a rhythm, and this phase will pass too. The key is to not identify yourself with the difficult moment, but to observe it as part of a cycle. Neuroscience and acceptance. Our brain has a built-in negativity bias, meaning we feel bad moments much more intensely than good ones. However, neuroscientific studies show that acceptance activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for problem-solving and rational thinking. When we accept a difficult moment instead of panicking, our brain functions better, allowing us to make wiser decisions. How to apply acceptance in daily life. Breathe and observe. When something bad happens, don't react immediately. Instead, tell yourself, this is just a phase in the cycle. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this moment? How can I use this phase instead of fighting against it? Redirect your energy. Instead of struggling against the current, ask yourself, what is the smartest action for this moment? Sometimes, the best move isn't to act, but to wait for the right time. Step 3. Shift the polarity and turn low phases into momentum. The secret is knowing that no negative situation lasts forever. But instead of waiting passively for change, you can accelerate the transition to the opposite pole. If you're facing financial scarcity, don't just focus on the lack of money. Identify small actions that can initiate a new cycle of prosperity. If you're feeling unmotivated, instead of sinking deeper, seek triggers that spark inspiration. A book, a course, a change in your environment. If you're stuck in an extreme state, the way back to balance is to start moving, gradually, toward the opposite direction. If your life feels stagnant, introduce small daily changes, even if it's adjusting your routine or meeting new people. Small movements break inertia. The key: consistent micro-actions. You don't need to go from depression to extreme happiness overnight, but you can take the first step toward the light, and over time, the natural rhythm of life will do the rest. Plan your actions around cycles for continuous growth. The biggest mistake people make is acting as if they are always in the same cycle. Those who ignore life's rhythms fail to prepare strategically. During high moments, instead of burning all your energy, plant seeds for the future. During low moments, don't panic. Use this period to refine your skills and build strong foundations. Apply this to your life and watch the transformation. Become the master of your own reality. Life isn't a straight line. It's a dance of highs and lows. But now you know that every fall contains the seed of your next rise. You can choose to be a victim of the cycles, or you can learn to ride them to your advantage. The knowledge is now in your hands. What will you do with it? Now take the next step. Now that you know how to use the principle of rhythm to turn any difficult phase into growth, it's time for the next step. Understanding how mentalism and your consciousness shape your reality. Click on the card above to watch the video that will expand your mind in ways you never imagined. Unlock the power of Hermetic laws to learn how to apply the principle of rhythm and the other Hermetic laws to manifest abundance in your life. Download the ebook, The Site. Key to Prosperity. Transform your financial life with the Hermetic laws. Get it now in the first pinned comment. Let's talk. Have you ever noticed a cycle repeating in your life? Share your experience in the comments. Your insight might help someone else break free from their patterns. Spread the knowledge. If this video impacted you, share it with someone who needs to hear this. The more people who understand these principles, the greater our power to elevate collective consciousness. Life will never be calm waters all the time, but once you understand the principle of rhythm, you learn to navigate any storm with wisdom. 3. Choice is in your hands. Will you be dragged by the waves or will you learn to surf them?